Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well today. I hope 2023 is treating you well. It's a tough time of year. January is a really hard month to get through, so just really hope you're looking after yourself, doing all the self-care that you need to kind of get through this month. Today's video is quite a personal one, I would say, and one that's really, well, the topic has changed my life considerably. Relationships in general and dating in general has always, or previously had been, such a thorn in my side, I would say, for a big chunk of my life, and I feel as though that thorn has now been removed. And this is how I did it. This is how I changed the game for myself, and basically find peace when it comes to dating. So if you want to know how to really take control of your dating life, turn the tables, find peace, joy, and just happiness in relationships, standing up for yourself as well, then please keep watching. By the way, ignore the construction. I'm really sorry about that. I will try and film when there's less noise. Can't guarantee it though. So many of us come to dating with this perspective that is kind of depicted by terms such as, will they like me? What can I do to attract them to me? What did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? Why don't they like me? And it's about switching that mentality from will I like them? What can they bring to my life that is of value? Actually, I find that behavior unattractive. And switching that narrative in your head, it is essential and crucial that you do that. Most people do come to that with that sort of lacking mindset of what can I do differently? No, are they good for you? Are they a good fit for you? Making that switch is key. And I'm gonna show you how to basically change that perspective. It does take time. It does take changing that narrative in your head and consciously catching yourself thinking those things, remembering in your head no, it's not about me altering myself for them, it's about me thinking, are they right for me? First of all, I think it starts with a lot of self-confidence and faith in yourself. Nobody is out of your league. You can have exactly what you want, and it might take you a few tries to find that right person, but you can have in your brain, the ideal kind of person that you want, you can have that. There's nothing stopping you from getting that. Try to remind yourself that nothing is out of bounds, nothing is out of limits. You can have exactly what you want. So I think that sort of mentality of abundance and having that self-belief, self-worth, and understanding that you are deserving of someone who fulfills you in all ways that you want is the start to it. It's changing how you speak to yourself and how you determine yourself to be attractive. It takes time. Give yourself that time to work on changing your mentality, and that's really where you're going to see the changes. So I think the confidence that comes with that self-assurance and that self-belief and abundance mindset is going to stand you in good stead for finding and attracting the perfect person. And you're gonna have higher standards because you're well, I know the value that I bring, and I know what I could provide and give to someone else. So frankly, these qualities of someone isn't gonna be good enough for you. All of this stuff contributes to that mentality and that switch you're going to experience in letting people come to you rather than you chasing. I think this particular point is probably really the one thing you can do that will make that switch take place, where you're more in sort of control of your dating life, and that is saying no. I promise you, if you are interested in attracting a healthy, peaceful relationship, you will know that the only way you can attract better and take control of your dating life by manifesting better people over time is by saying no to bad people. Because by saying no to them, you're saying yes to those better people, and that is literally the only way, in my opinion, that you are gonna get what you want eventually. It's by walking away from those bad people. Like I said, at 23, 24, I made the decision at that moment to start saying no, choosing my mind over my heart, and being even though it's painful in the short term, even though it's going against what my heart really wants, I was going to make that decision to reject and discard those people that made me feel like shit. Because I want a relationship, and I wanted a relationship that never made me feel like shit. You know what you bring to the table. You know that you would never ever intentionally hurt somebody, and you would do your utmost to rectify any situation where you might have upset somebody. When you are like that, you need to have those standards for other people. You know, if someone upsets you and they don't care, or they gaslight you, or, you know, do all the usual horrible things, like basically behave in a toxic way, You're not like that. So why are you accepting somebody that is? Why are you accepting somebody that like does treat you like that? And by accepting it and by tolerating it and not saying no and sort of saying yes and staying in the relationship, you're literally inadvertently telling the universe that you think that's what you deserve and that's what you want. And it's not. You want someone like you who values other people and would never want to upset them and like values other people's feelings. You can have someone who also does that. So you've got to basically in those moments say no to the people that are happy to do that, or, you know, are not uncomfortable upsetting you. Honestly, like on a personal note, I've spent the past year saying no. I've been single for now 5 years, and it's because I really refuse to settle. Like I really do. I refuse to be with somebody that doesn't make me feel good. So ultimate point is saying no and choosing your head over your heart is going to create that switch. It's going to put you in power in your dating. So you're going to make that switch from like dating happening to you and situations happening to you to you're making dating work for you. And that is by doing the uncomfortable thing and choosing yourself and choosing what you know you deserve over the comfort of staying in a situation like that. Like every single time I've like rejected someone or said no or been like, I don't rate that, another person has come into my life who is like 10 times better. Trust that you know what you deserve, and based on that, trust that. That is how you're gonna make that switch. Having that abundant mindset, not thinking, oh shit, I'm gonna be lonely if I move away from this person. There are billions of people in this world, and there's, even if 1% likes you, that's still thousands of people. You've got to have that abundant mindset of like, there is love out there for me. There are several people out there who are out there for me who are perfect for me. This person falls short of what I'm looking for, therefore they need to go. The moment you start being really strict with yourself and honest with yourself about whether or not that person's right for you and whether or not that person brings you peace, is the moment you're gonna have so much control in a positive way over your dating and like who you choose to let in, and it's liberating. Coming on from that then is that faith then. So that, of course, the abundance mindset, but also that faith that you are going to find the right person. This sort of lacking mindset of like, I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. Definitely like society instills that fear in people to make them settle, and it's fucked. Like there's so less so now, but there formerly was so much stigma around being single and like unmarried. But there is no stigma. Even if it takes you like till 40 or 50 to like find the right person, then so be it. There is no time to lose or waste on people that don't make you feel good. I would much rather live 50 years of my life traveling, being on my own, doing my own thing, like enjoying my life, and then find the person at 50 that I'm in love with, than, you know, find someone that's okay when I'm like 30 and then spend a miserable life with them. Like, no, I refuse, and you should refuse to settle for that. You can have better, and you've got to have that faith and that trust in yourself and your life that you can find that, and you deserve better, and you deserve it all. Like, you deserve everything. My favorite phrase is like, because you exist, they exist. And simply by that notion of you existing in this world, you've got to have that faith that there must be someone out there for you, if not multiple people. I think the last thing I kind of want to point out in this video is, well, that I found really helped, was training my brain and training myself. Over time, by the way, takes that inner work to detach. And I remember when I first started hearing about this, I really struggled with attachment. It's literally so weird. I've gone from like being so anxiously attached to so many men to now I'm unbothered. And I want to basically touch on this to tell you how important the act of detaching, or the process of detaching, is, because that's, I feel, is what has brought me so much peace. I feel like attachment is the ego. I would often fall for people or get attached to people at their potential. It wasn't love. It wasn't because I thought that they were like, you know, kind, compassionate people, because they, more often than not, they weren't. It was clocking the times when I was like, am I attached? Or do I actually like this person? Like, do I actually like the qualities about them? Because when I really thought about it, like, it was like what that person signified to me rather than because I actually liked them as a person. Because every single guy that I dated, like in, I guess, like 2021, I would get attached to every single one, and every single one of them treated me with disrespect in some way. So it can't have been like my version of love, or like my version of like, because I wouldn't have like genuinely liked those things about that person because they're negative. It must have been the fact that I was attached to them, and the fact that I was like attracted to their potential. Learning to detach and practicing the act of detaching, it does take time. It is a little bit uncomfortable. Healthy relationships don't rely on attachment style. Healthy relationships rely on a secure attachment style. What I would do when it comes to sort of like learning to detach is go on like TikTok, on YouTube, and work out maybe what your attachment style is, and from that, you know, look at resources that help you detach, or kind of reduce your anxious or avoidant attachment style. That's how I learned to detach. It was listening and like understanding myself and understanding why I actually had this anxious attachment style. And when I worked out that the reason I had the attachment style that I had, which was, you know, fear of abandonment, fear of being lonely, fear of like never finding somebody, wanting that void, as it were, to be filled, was the moment I was able to work on them and understand where those things were coming from, and do the healing on those specific things. I would ask myself, why did I feel lonely? Why did I feel abandoned? Why did I feel as though I wasn't going to find somebody? And it was really working on those specific areas in my life that helped me detach. I think also kind of combined with that is saying no, because your brain is almost like overpowering your heart to sort of stay with that person or accept that person's disrespect. The moment that you say no to that, you are actually in fact detaching and like moving yourself away from that person, removing yourself from that situation. Yeah, it might hurt, might be a bit uncomfortable at the time, but you're contributing to your ability to detach. Remind yourself, okay, I don't need this person to feel whole. There is a really good YouTuber, I think his name's Aaron Doherty or Aaron Doherty, and he has some great videos on detaching. And I think it's really important that if you are interested in detaching and like understanding like how to detach, definitely head to his videos because they're really, really good. And he kind of explains a little bit more on like how you can do that. But it starts with understanding why you get attached and where does that come from, and then unlearning those things. Just remember that like when you do detach or you begin to detach, relationships do seem like, or dating seems less exciting because you're having less of those highs and lows, but that doesn't mean that it's not exciting. That just means you're having like a more stable, secure attachment, and that is actually a great thing. I'd much rather have peace like from my perspective, and that switch that took place made me a better assessor of whether or not someone is right for me, because I no longer like need it, because I've detached and I've like found that peace, and I no longer sort of like need that to make me feel good about myself or to fill a void, because the void doesn't exist anymore because I've done the inner work. Having that sort of peace has meant that I'm not clouded by desperation and lacking, so I can make more sort of level-headed decisions because I'm not desperate for that void to be filled. If anything, I just want it now. So it's made me better at being discerning about who I'm going to let into my life. And based on that, then you do end up attracting better partners, because you're like, the moment that you feel anything dodgy or that doesn't feel right, you're like, well, I'm not going to let that into my life because I'm peaceful without anybody. Why would I let someone into my life that causes chaos? I'm just going to remove it. Whereas when you have that lacking mindset and when you have that attachment style, you're not able to fully assess whether or not someone's creating chaos in your life, because you're just simply grateful to have those like needs met by that person. It doesn't matter who they are, and that's not a healthy place to be in. Definitely, from all those things that I've described, that's how I've made the tables turn and made sure that dating works for me rather than it like just happening to me. So that's it for today. I hope you've really enjoyed this video, you've learned something, you can take some kind of value from it. I'd definitely love to hear what you have to say in the comments. What is your experience with switching or turning the tables when it comes to dating? What have you learned? How have you made it work for you? I hope you have a lovely remainder of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.